How's it going? This is Fox back again for sound design tutorials. I'm going to be going over a pad that I made today. It's with Sylenth 1. I'm called it an emotional pad because it is. These 5 pads I made in this little thing here were done during a live stream. I'm going to go through all of them one by one. I'm going to start with the Sylenth one because it's one of my favourites. So yeah, this is the patch. There you go, it's a real emotional pad. It's quite a big stack of chords, notes in the chord that really helps generate the overall sound that we've got, but it's down to the sound design. There's a lot going on in this, a lot more than I would normally do if I was making a patch quickly for a track. I've really gone in depth with this. There's a lot going on, so it's going to take me a while to work through this, but yeah, this patch is free to download in the description. If you like this, please subscribe. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and initialize this. So it's 2 parts, 2 separate filters doing 2 totally different things, a lot going on. So if I am a bit quick, you're going to have to replay this, or as I say, just download it for free. So first thing I want to do is crank the voices up to maximum because we're going to be using every single ounce of Sylenth's power. We're going to have 8 voices of a saw wave on oscillator A1. Detune round to about 3.4. Uncheck the retrig so the new voices you've created start at individual points from each other. We're going to set up the main amp envelope. You want the volume to creep in slowly. To do that, you want the sustain on full, no decay, and then the attack time tells you how long it takes for the amp to come in. It's not too slow, nice and subtle. We want some release so they tail off into each other as well. So oscillator A2, we want to pitch this down 1 octave. This is a sine wave with 3 voices. Uncheck the retrigger again. Detune pretty much the same amount. Phase, pan and stereo on oscillator A1 and A2 keep the same. Watch the master volume. When you keep increasing voices, you're going to have to pull it down. So we'll set the what we'll do quickly is the amp envelope for part A and B was the same, so quickly we'll copy that, part B, paste, so when we go and set it up it's exactly the same. We'll set the master filter up, this big green filter at the bottom, starting point cut off there, resonance at 2.2, no key tracking, but we want the warm drive. So how I got this swooshing modulation, sounds like things are crossing over and stuff, is with 2 separate band passes. So you want to change this to a band pass, set it to 12 decibel per octave low pass filter so it's not super steep. So we're going to do that sort of modulation with an envelope, no resonance, drive round to about 2.3. Good starting point for this one. We wanted it to take care of the higher parts of the sound, so I had it on about 1600 Hz. We're going to use mod envelope 1 to close this filter off to give us that swooshing sort of sound. So cut off A. Want it to go negative round to about -6, -7. Sustain on full, so again it's the attack time that controls how long it takes to do that, and I had it roughly about 7, between 7 and 8. Same again, bit of release so it doesn't tail off too quick. Bit of decay, this is how long it takes to get to the sustain level once it's got to the attack time. pretty much a pad on its own, but now when we take into account we can have another layer, stack a load of more things up. We're going to do some modulation on the phase of both oscillators and an LFO on a cut-off as well to give it more movement. So this one was a square wave. We've already set the amp envelope so it's the same. We'll solo part B so you can hear it as we go along. 7 voices unison for this. Detune slightly less than we had for oscillator A1, about 1.5. And the stereo for these two parts are going to keep dead center, so taking care of the more mono part of the sound. Uncheck the retrigger again. Oscillator B2 is a sine wave again, 5 voices. Keep the retrigger on for this. No detune, no phase. The volume's on 0 actually, so I didn't use this. Bear with. Yeah, just the square wave then. I must have tried playing around with a sine wave, but I've just realised the volume is on 0, so I didn't use it. So this one is going to be a bandpass filter as well. 12 dB again. Pretty much the same amount of drive. No resonance. Starting point for this is going to be lower, and then we're going to sweep through the highs. So we've got the bandpasses doing that in effect. So sort of closing down and then opening up again. So we're going to use this same envelope for cut-off B, and we're going to use this to open up. Nowhere near as much as A. I think I had it on about 3.2, 3.3. Now bring both in together. Is it clipping? Bear with me. Okay, I'm going to add the effects now, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the modulation that moves it around a bit. So I had a bit of distortion. I used a fold back type of distortion. The amount was really quite low in the dry wet, around about 25-30%. Just help fuzzy it up a bit. And a reverb. Room size at 6. Width pretty much dead center. About 50 milliseconds on the pre-delay. Quite high on the damping. Dry wet about 60%. Yeah, right, so now we're going to introduce a lot of modulation. So I'm going to modulate the phase of A and B together with LFO1. It's going to be a triangle wave. I always use triangle waves pretty much, unless I want a definite stutter, then I use a square wave or a saw. Phase AB, positive, quite a lot, about 5. 6. Gain on full. You can hear the effect it has when the rate is quite fast, but when you slow it down to something around about 90 Hertz, just helps give a gentle pulsing sort of washing feel to the sound. Beautiful. We're going to use LFO2 on a triangle wave as well. This one is going to be a little bit of a faster rate. We're going to check that so the LFO2 free rate is on. And volume on full. Cut off B. So we're just going to wobble the sort of bandpass filters at the end of their cycle independently of each other, separate ways. Cut off B to the left, cut off A to the right. That's the way that they're going anyway. You can see from the modulation in these two boxes. Can't really hear it having any effect at the minute because the rate's still quite low. We're going to modulate this rate with an LFO. With an envelope, sorry. We're going to use the same envelope, mod envelope 1. If we copy it, paste it to mod envelope 2, you've got exactly the same settings. It helps keeps everything nice and constant if you use the same envelope. If you noticed, this envelope isn't too far away from the amp envelope that I've got. It's just a little bit of a quicker attack. So yeah, I want this to do LFO to rate. So we're going to increase the LFO to rate over time with this envelope. So towards the end of the chords, you're going to hear the LFO more prominent, doing more sort of sweeping left and right on the filter. Beautiful. The only thing I did now was introduce a bit of portamento. I didn't change it to legato mode. This is just like a glide in between the chords. Had it on about 6. If you have it too much, you can hear it really quite prominent. Say 6, 6.5 was good. Show you what I've got on the master channel. That's the patch done. I've got some EQing. I'll open this up so you can hear what it's doing. I was just attenuating the highs. Making it more rounded. The thing when you make pads like this, these real big sort of wide pads, they fill a lot of the spectrum. It's going to be hard for you to use them in a mix. So for that reason, you're going to want to hone them in, sort of aim them towards the areas that you want. That's what I did. I got a bit of compression as well, just to bring it all in check. Obviously, if you don't want the LFO, pull the gain out, keep the same patch the same. Bring it in as subtly as you want with the gain of the volume for LFO2. But yeah, that's the patch done. As I said, if you like this, subscribe. Plenty more Sylenth tutorials to come. Next one I'm going to do is going to be the one with Electra, which is this. Lovely airy pad that is, so that's going to be the next tutorial, but for now that is me. Thanks for watching as always. Cheers.